Welcome to Dark Side of People, where psychology is relevant and people is really crazy.
Have you ever wondered why someone commits a mass shooting? What is going on in their mind? It's a chilling question, yet vital to understanding these horrific events. The human mind is a labyrinth, and within its depths, we may find answers. We aim to explore the psychology behind mass shootings, shedding light on the early signs, the act itself, and the aftermath. This journey is not for the faint-hearted, but it's necessary. This video will delve into the psychology of mass shootings, from early signs through the act itself to the aftermath. The journey into the mind of a mass shooter begins long before the act itself. The early symptoms of this tragic journey often manifest subtly, sometimes barely noticeable until viewed in hindsight. Among the initial psychological signs, social isolation frequently emerges as a common thread. A potential mass shooter may gradually withdraw from social circles, disconnecting from friends, family, and the world at large. This isolation isn't merely physical, but emotional too, creating an invisible barrier that separates them from the rest of society. Now let's delve into another sign, a fascination with violence. This isn't your everyday action movie or video game obsession, but a deep-rooted interest that transcends the norm. It could manifest in various ways, such as an excessive consumption of violent media, researching past mass shootings, or a particular interest in weapons. This fascination often serves as a dark prelude to the violence that may later unfold. Then, there's the manifestation of violent fantasies. At this stage, the line between imagination and reality begins to blur. The potential mass shooter may start to envision violent scenarios, sometimes even sharing these fantasies online or in personal diaries. These fantasies are not merely idle daydreams, but blueprints of the violence they may eventually enact. Now, we can't ignore the role of mental health in this complex puzzle. While it's crucial to note that not all individuals with mental health issues are violent, in some cases, untreated or poorly managed mental health conditions could contribute to these early signs. Conditions like depression, anxiety, and especially personality disorders can distort a person's perception of reality and their interactions with others. In conclusion, understanding these early signs, social isolation, fascination with violence, manifesting violent fantasies, and the role of mental health, is a step towards deciphering the complex psychology of a mass shooter. It's a sensitive topic that requires an empathetic and educated approach, but one that's vital in our quest to prevent future tragedies. Identifying these signs early could be key in preventing such horrific events. The act of a mass shooting, a moment of chaos and terror, but what's happening inside the mind of the perpetrator? Let's delve a bit deeper. The psychological state during such an act is complex and multifaceted. One aspect is known as dissociation. This is a mental process where a person disconnects from their thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. In the context of a mass shooting, the perpetrator might experience a sort of out-of-body experience, as if they're watching the events unfold from a distance. It's a mechanism to cope with overwhelming stress or trauma. Then there's the adrenaline rush. The human body is wired to respond to threats or danger with a surge of adrenaline. This hormone triggers the body's fight-or-flight response. In a mass shooting scenario, this adrenaline rush could amplify the shooter's aggression and reduce their ability to empathize with their victims. The feeling of power is another key element. Many mass shooters have histories of feeling powerless, marginalized, or victimized. In their twisted perception, the act of mass shooting provides a sense of control and dominance. It's a misguided attempt to reclaim their power. We also can't overlook the role of societal factors. The glamorization of violence in media, easy access to firearms, and the toxic culture of machismo can all fuel the mindset that leads to a mass shooting. These societal elements can reinforce the shooter's warped sense of entitlement or justification for their actions. So what does this all mean? Well, it's important to remember that these elements don't exist in a vacuum. They interact and intertwine in unique ways within each individual. It's a complex web of psychological, physiological, and social factors. Understanding the mindset during this act can shed light on the motivations behind such atrocities. It's a grim topic, but by studying it, we can hope to take steps towards preventing future tragedies. After the smoke clears and the media frenzy begins, what happens to the psyche of a mass shooter? The aftermath of such a catastrophic event is rarely explored in depth, yet it holds significant insights into the human mind. The psychological aftermath of a mass shooting is a complex tapestry of emotions and mental states. Some shooters may experience intense remorse, a crushing guilt that stems from the realization of their actions. They may grapple with the magnitude of their deeds, haunted by the faces of their victims and the lives they've irrevocably altered. Others, however, may respond with denial, a psychological defense mechanism that allows them to distance themselves from the atrocity they've committed. They may rationalize their actions, blame others, or even completely detach from reality, creating a distorted narrative that absolves them of responsibility. Then there are those who feel a twisted sense of accomplishment. Driven by anger, resentment, or a misguided belief, they may view their actions as a successful mission, a testament to their power and control. The societal reaction also plays a significant role in shaping the shooter's psyche. The media coverage, public outrage, and the inevitable legal consequences can either exacerbate their feelings of guilt and remorse, propel their denial, or inflate their misguided sense of accomplishment. The aftermath reveals the long-lasting psychological effects of such a destructive act. The human mind is a labyrinth, and the way it responds to such extreme circumstances is a testament to its complexity and resilience. The psychology of mass shootings is a complex and disturbing subject. We've journeyed through the dark corridors of the human mind, exploring the initial psychological signs that can often precede such heinous acts. Manifestations of violent tendencies, social isolation, and significant personality changes are key indicators that should never be ignored. We've also delved into the act itself, the chilling moment when a person decides to commit an unthinkable crime. The psychological state during such an act is one of detachment, where empathy and human connection are lost. Finally, we've looked at the aftermath, the ripple effect of shock, grief, and trauma that these acts create, impacting individuals and communities for years, even generations to come. But understanding is the first step towards prevention. By shedding light on the psychology behind these acts, we can hope to better identify warning signs, intervene more effectively, and ultimately save lives. By understanding the psychology behind these acts, we can hope to prevent them and ultimately save lives.
Subscribe and share for more dark psychology content.